Hi there guys, Harvey here, welcome back to the channel. It is time for another preview. This time we have got Newcastle on Saturday at Selhurst Park. Now, Newcastle aside, another one like Huddersfield last week, who are below us on the table, one of the few teams below us. They're not on a good run of form at all, similar to Huddersfield, struggling to pick up a win. A number of draws in there, a few defeats, good performance against Manchester City and Arsenal in the first half that people may or may not have expected from them, but at the end of the day they're not really getting the results and the points that they'd be hoping for. So going into this one, my thoughts on it, I think it's a game that we should be looking to win at home. These are the games we should be trying to win at home. No disrespect to Newcastle, but I think their team isn't very strong when you look at the individual players in their side compared to ours. I feel like we do have a stronger team than Newcastle. As I said, no disrespect to Newcastle, because Newcastle as a club, as a history, as a heritage is insanely bigger than Palace. Big club, big history, etc, etc. But right here, right now, if I'm looking at individual players pairing up on the pitch from the opposition sides, I think that we beat them on a number of positions for quality. So I'm expecting us to put in a good performance at home. Wilfried Zaha should be playing as well, which is always good. Home atmosphere, I expect the fans to be picking up a bit after that 1-0 Huddersfield win. That should do us a world of good and hopefully get us a bit of form coming into this game. So looking at the sides, I'm hoping that we see, in terms of what I think will happen over the course of the 90 minutes, I think we'll see, again, two teams that are going to be more than happy to be tight, solid defensively, banks of four, but look to break quickly and look to break with pace, and very similar to Newcastle, very good at it, and we've seen that, likes of that against Man City. Yedlin's goal against Man City was a great example of how well they can counter-attack against top teams. So we've got to be wary of that. Obviously, shorter, narrower pitch will make it harder for opposition players to counter-attack. We're used to it, so hopefully that'll play into our hands a little bit. You've got to look as well at Newcastle, whether they play Diame in the midfield. I know that he's had a very poor season so far, and a lot of Newcastle fans want him out of the side. So if he starts, that could be a bonus for us. Shelvey would be the one to watch for me if he plays, because his passing ability can tear us apart if we're not careful. And then Rondon up front started well at Newcastle. He's had a few goals, so he's a handful. But equally, if we have our centre-back partnership of Saka and Tompkins fit, I'm confident of them being able to handle him. But then again, at Huddersfield, our main problem was not dealing with crosses, and I can expect a lot with the passing range of Shelvey. You've also got Matt Ritchie in that side. You've also got on the other side Kennedy bombing forward from the back. They've got good players with good crossing ability there and good passing range. So we've got to be wary of that. We've got to sort out our heading and our defending from crosses for this game. Otherwise, I could see Rondon getting a goal, because he's a much more clinical and better finisher. Again, no offence to Huddersfield fans who may be watching this, but he's a much more clinical finisher, in my opinion, than the Huddersfield strikers that we faced up last week. So crossing, if we can defend their crosses and if we can be tight defensively, but with the same structure we had in the last game, I think we should be able to counter and hopefully get a comfortable win. If we play at our best, we will win this. So that leads me on nicely to my predicted lineup. For me, it's pretty simple. The team I think will go out will be the same as last week. Now, again, the only slight part that I'll worry about in that is MacArthur playing ahead of Max Meyer. It's not because it's not because James MacArthur's done anything wrong. I love James MacArthur so much, and he's probably been one of the better players so far this season. He's been so consistent, he can do any role. I love him so much, and I would love him to stay in this team. But I think Max Meyer, every Palace fan wants Max Meyer to start. It's the excitement that he brought when he came to the club. It caused a lot of excitement, gave the club a big lift at the time, and now it's starting to come down just a little bit because he's not playing, and we want to see him on the same pitch as Zaha. Everyone wants to see that. These are two most skillful players going forward, creating chances, and it could be something special if it all clicks. So we're not quite sure the reason why Max Meyer's not playing. Last week, you can't say he should have played necessarily, because we got the win in the end. So you know, Roy will say that tactically that was the right thing to do, and you have to agree with him on that. If we got the win, we got the win. You can't say, you know, you can't say it would have been any different if we had Meyer in, because we got all 3 points. But yeah, I think we'd be much more solid, because last season for Schalke, Max Meyer played a very good defensive role for them. He didn't really go forward as much as he did in previous seasons, so he can play that box-to-box role like MacArthur. He's basically an upgraded MacArthur. No offense again to MacArthur, but he kind of is. He's younger. He's only just turned 23, I believe, 22. So he's younger. He's more energetic. He's a better Yohan Cabaye, or a younger, more energetic Yohan Cabaye. You know, that's what I like to think of him, and he does the same role as MacArthur, going back and forth, box to box. For me, it'll be the same lineup. I'll have Hennessy in goal, Wan-Bissaka right back, Tompkins and Sacco as the centre backs, Van Arnold left back. Van Arnold needs to shape up a bit though, because he's been a bit poor in the last couple of games. Holding midfielders in a 4-2-3-1 of Kouyaté and Milivojevic. I was very happy with Kouyaté's full first team debut. Luca, he's going to start because he's our captain and he's a leader, and you want him in your side, but he needs to step up as well. He's had a slow start to the season. I don't know if that's because of the whole international debacle with him and the Serbian manager. They're falling out. I don't know if that's the reason why he's kind of been off the ball a bit, but whatever it is, he needs to step it up now, because we need to see some performances that we're used to seeing from him as captain. And then you've got the midfield three in front of them. Townsend wide right, MacArthur in the middle. Like I said, only position I would potentially change to Max Meyer, or like to see Max Meyer play, just because everyone wants to see him play. Nothing against MacArthur, but I do think MacArthur will start, because I don't think Hodgson doesn't typically change a winning side. So MacArthur in there, Zaha of course out wide left, and Ayew up front, who again I thought had a good game and deserved a goal against Huddersfield. He missed a couple of good chances. He'll be a bit gutted he didn't score on that, but I think that him playing up top and then Zaha and Townsend acting as wingers when they go forward in like a 4-3-3 and then coming back defensively, I think that, you know, that works well. And Zaha sitting on the halfway line ready for the counter-attack when Newcastle have got corners coming in, stuff like that. That could be massive as well, because he looked so good on the break against Huddersfield. So that's my lineup, guys. Now I'm going to hand over for the first time on my previews. I haven't really done this in previous episodes, and I think I should do it more, to be honest. We've got the guys from the Magpie channel, the Newcastle fans. I've met a couple of them before, and they're really nice guys, and they've sent in their preview for the game. So check out their thoughts here.
Crystal Palace at the weekend.
Crystal Palace at the weekend. They won 1-0 on the weekend, didn't they? Zaha.
1-0 Zaha, right?
So you wouldn't hit that was a class goal by him and all.
Zaha is absolutely outstanding. I absolutely love Zaha. He's kind of too good for that Crystal Palace team. He's like Shelby ourselves. Like if they didn't have him, they'd be absolutely fucked.
See, I think Palace have got good players in areas, but they've got some dodgy names now. And
oh, they really do. Like they've got some
still
top
there.
quality.
So I don't really rate them that much. They are mid-table. It's one of them teams you do want to pick up points against, but
they can be tricky. They can
away,
be tough.
it is tricky.
Tough
At home, they're the teams you've got to be beaten. But away from home, Selhurst Park, it's not an easy away game.
No, it's not.
I think we might get beat.
I'm tough with this one. Like, I've got 2-1 Palace in my head. Like, not because every other game has been 2-1 this season, but
probably make a bit of money if you just keep on betting like a tenner and 2-1 against Newcastle every week.
But this is the kind of game like Newcastle need to push on.
Need to get off to win, man.
Like we all knew like the start of the season was going to be hard when the fixtures were drawn. Like no one really expected it to be in a much better position than we are now. One point, like alright, maybe should have had 3 against Cardiff.
That's the one that sticks with you.
Yeah, but them games are over now, aren't they? Like we've got them all done now.
Because
so this is where
Perez, Benitez came out the other day and says like our season starts now and we're in a good position.
It does.
Even though we're second bottom, you were saying now's the time to obviously kick on. Now's the time we're playing each other around, so it's a chance to go on and run.
Yeah, like I said, season starts now. Like the hard games are done with. Like forget about that. Like let's just kick on now. Because the performances haven't really been bad.
No.
Like 2-1 against 4 or 5 of the best teams in the league.
Obviously they've been a bit negative, not enough shots on target and that. But damage limitation has to be against them teams. It's just I mean, the main threat is the pace. Yedlin can deal with it, but Dummett won't be able to really.
Townsend and that.
I don't know what the extent of Lascelles' injury is.
No, I haven't really heard much.
No, I haven't heard. I've been way too busy. I haven't even looked to see how bad it is. If
it cannot be overly serious though. If like nothing's really came out.
It's kind of like a precaution one, because it was meant to be in the warm up. He was injured, and then they carried on playing. Then it was a bit touch and go half time, so they didn't risk any further. but it's not going to be easy. Like,
nah, like a lot of like the good players from last season like aren't really performing at the minute. Like Mo Diarmi.
Exactly, man.
He's
What's
been
happening
fucking
to Diarmi?
dog balls all season.
He was trying to take up the role of Shelby Only and spray the ball about, and he was going for fucking throws and that. Fucking hell, man.
Nah, Mo Diarmi hasn't really been cutting the mustard for me this season. Like,
nah. My heart says 1-1. My head says 1-0 Palace. Zaha.
Yeah, like it's tough for me. Like, my head kind of says 2-1 Palace. I think it's going to be close. It's only going to be one goal in it either way. So like 2-1 either way, 1-0 either way, possible draw. Like, I can't call this. Like,
it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
No one's really got going yet out of us in Palace. Obviously, they won last weekend, but against Huddersfield, they look like they're going to be in trouble this year.
Yeah, like if it was like deeper into the season, like a few months down the line where teams are a bit more settled and like league position and stuff, you can predict it a little bit better. But like, because the season's still quite new, neither's really getting into second year, least of all Newcastle. So it's fucking hard, man. Hard to call.
Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And enjoy yourselves.
So thanks a lot, guys, for that preview. I'm really excited for this game. We're getting in now to the score predictions. For me, like I said at the start of the video, if we stick to our game plan, if we play just a 10, 20, 30% better than we did against Huddersfield, just step it up a bit. Like I said, I think Newcastle have got more quality in their side than Huddersfield. So I think if we played the same sort of level we did at Huddersfield, we could get beaten by Newcastle. So we have to step up performances, even though we got a win. But I think if we play our best in front of the home fans, Zaha on fire, I'm expecting, or not expecting, but I'm hoping we get a 2-0 win. That's my prediction. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really excited for this game at the weekend. Like I said, always good having Newcastle come down. We've had a good history with Newcastle at Selhurst Park. Last season we got a draw, and the time before that we beat them 5-1. So I'm hoping that we get a couple of goals and hopefully we get the win at the end of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this preview, of course, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below as well your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on me and the channel as well. Anything to do with Palace, I'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.